That dinner, she casually said, "My ex still has the key to my place. Sometimes he drops by when I'm not home." I smiled lightly. "I understand." That same night, I ordered a funeral wreath delivered to her door, with the note that read, "Wishing you both eternal happiness." The next morning, her ex's messages started flooding my phone. She said it so casually, like mentioning she'd forgotten to buy milk. "Oh, by the way," she laughed, swirling her wine, "my ex still has a key to my apartment. Yeah, he still swings by sometimes when I'm not home, waters the plants or drops stuff off. I hope that doesn't bother you." I smiled. I even nodded like a good boyfriend should. "No," I said. "I understand." She seemed relieved. She went back to her pasta, and I sat there watching her talk about her day, her co-workers, the color she was thinking of dyeing her hair next week. The light hit her eyes, and for a second she looked beautiful. She looked beautiful. Something in me just shut off. That night, after dropping her off at her place, I drove around the empty streets of downtown until the clock blinked past midnight. I found an all-night flower shop that handled funeral arrangements. When the man behind the counter asked, "Who's it for?" I smiled the same way I'd smiled at her and said, "For a relationship that just died tonight." Her name was Emma. For a while I really thought she was it. We met through a mutual friend at a housewarming party back in April. She wore a grey sweater, hair in a messy bun, holding a glass of wine like she'd done it 1,000 times. She wasn't loud, but she had that kind of energy that made people pay attention without her even trying. Our first conversation wasn't anything special. Just small talk about music, how we both hated networking events, and how her job in marketing made her good at pretending to care. I laughed. She smiled. We exchanged numbers. 2 days later, we had coffee, and a week after that, dinner. It didn't feel forced. Things just happened. By the 3rd month, I was spending more time at her apartment than mine. It was a small one-bedroom place near downtown. Clean, cozy, a little messy around the edges. She had a cat named Oliver who hated everyone but her. She liked cooking breakfast in my t-shirts and leaving makeup on my pillowcases. I didn't mind. I liked her smell on my things. We didn't fight much. She had a sharp tongue, but I learned how to read her moods. I thought we were getting closer. She even started talking about trips we could take, maybe even moving in together eventually. Then came that night, the one that stuck in my head like a splinter. It was a Thursday. I'd made dinner at my place, pasta with shrimp, her favorite. We opened a bottle of wine she'd brought, sat at the counter, talked about her work, my job, a co-worker of hers who couldn't stop bragging about crypto. It was one of those easy, quiet nights you don't think much about, until it goes wrong. She was scrolling through her phone while I was washing the dishes. Then, out of nowhere, she said it. "Oh, by the way," she said, not even looking up, "my ex still has a key to my apartment. He stops by sometimes when I'm not home. Waters the plants, drops off things, whatever. I hope that doesn't weird you out." At first, I thought I'd misheard her. "Wait, what?" I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. She looked up, calm as ever. "Yeah, he just helps out sometimes." "We're still on good terms?" "It's totally platonic." I must have looked at her for a few seconds longer than I should have. She tilted her head. "You're not mad, are you?" I smiled. "No, I understand, that was it." No argument. No raised voices. She smiled, satisfied with that answer, and went back to her phone. But something inside me shifted right there. I wasn't jealous, not in the way she probably thought. I didn't imagine them sleeping together, didn't picture her sneaking around. It was simpler than that. It was about boundaries, about respect, about what she thought of me. She'd said it so casually because she thought it didn't matter, because she assumed I'd just nod and let it slide. That's what really got me, that she didn't even think it was worth hiding. We finished dinner. We watched a movie. She fell asleep on my couch halfway through, and I carried her to bed like always. From the outside, it looked like every other night, but lying next to her, I felt like something had cracked open inside me. The next morning, she left early for work. She kissed me goodbye, said, "Text me later," and smiled like nothing had happened. I stood by the window, watched her drive away, and realized she'd left a piece of herself behind in my head. Not love, not warmth, but a sentence that wouldn't stop echoing. He still has a key. For the next few days, I tried to shake it off. I told myself I was overreacting, that maybe it really was nothing. People stay friends with their exes, right? But every time I thought about it, something in me tightened. I didn't text her much that weekend. I needed space, or at least that's what I told myself. She texted me on Saturday. "Hey stranger, are you alive?" I replied, "Yeah, just catching up on work." She sent back a heart emoji. That was it. No questions, no concern. It felt strange how easy she accepted the distance. Like she didn't even notice the air had changed between us. On Sunday, I sat at my desk, scrolling through my phone, and realized I didn't want to confront her. What would I even say? "Hey, maybe it's not cool that your ex still has access to your apartment." She'd just laugh it off. Maybe call me insecure. She was good at making things sound smaller than they were. So instead of talking, I started thinking. Thinking turned into planning. I've never been a man who shouts or breaks things. I don't throw scenes or make public messes. When something bothers me, I go quiet. I let it sit, and I find my own way to deal with it. That night, I drove past her building. The lights were on in her living room. I saw her silhouette through the window, moving around, talking on the phone. I wondered if it was him, maybe not, but the thought alone was enough. Somewhere between anger and amusement, I decided I wanted to send a message, not a text, not a call, but something she couldn't ignore, something she'd remember. The next day, I left work early and drove to a florist, a quiet shop near a cemetery. They specialized in funeral arrangements. The kind of place people don't walk into unless they have to. A middle-aged man in a vest greeted me with a polite, tired smile. "Who are we remembering today?" he asked. I looked around at all the wreaths and white lilies, roses, chrysanthemums, peaceful, beautiful in a cold kind of way. "Something like that," I said. "I need a funeral wreath. Big, elegant, maybe with white roses." He nodded, started writing things down. "Name of the deceased?" I smiled. "Just write Emma and Daniel." He paused, pen mid-air. "You sure?" "Yeah," I said. "And on the card write, 'Wishing you eternal happiness together.'" He didn't ask any more questions. He just took the payment and told me it'd be delivered the next morning. Driving home, I felt oddly calm. Not satisfied, just steady, like everything was finally in its place. I didn't hate Emma, that's the part people don't get. I wasn't trying to destroy her. I just wanted her to see something clearly for once. How ridiculous, how careless that little confession had been. Maybe I wanted her to feel embarrassed. Maybe I wanted to remind her that actions have weight. That night she texted me again. "Hey, are we okay? You've been kind of distant." I stared at the screen for a while before typing back, "Yeah, just tired. Talk soon." It was true in a way. I was tired, just not of work. When I woke up the next morning, it was raining. The city looked washed out, grey. I stayed in bed longer than usual, half expecting a message from her, half hoping not to get one. Around 10, my phone buzzed, not from Emma, but from an unknown number. "Hi, this is from Garden Memorials. The wreath has been delivered." I read it twice, then put my phone face down. I imagined her face when she opened the door. The confusion, then the realization. Maybe she'd think I'd gone crazy. Maybe she'd laugh about it with her ex. I didn't really care. The point wasn't what she thought. It was that the message had been sent. As I made coffee, I realized my hands weren't shaking anymore. I hadn't felt that kind of calm in days. Whatever happened next, it was out of my hands now. Around noon that day, I got a call from a friend at work, so I forgot about everything for a while. I went through emails, grabbed lunch, tried to act normal. Then, sometime after 2, my phone buzzed again. The first thing I saw was a text from Emma. "What the hell did you send to my apartment?" I stared at the screen. For a second, I almost laughed. She'd gotten it. Before I could even type a response, another message popped up. "This isn't funny, Daniel." Then another. "You've humiliated me." I didn't reply. I put the phone down and let her words pile up on the screen like static. A few minutes later, someone else texted me, a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, you might want to know something." I live next to Emma. This morning was wild. I hesitated, then typed back, "Who is this?" "Name's Susan. I'm her neighbor. We've met once, I think." Anyway, a delivery guy showed up with this giant funeral wreath, like really big. He rang her doorbell, and her older neighbor from across the hall came over thinking someone had died. I could almost see it. The narrow hallway, the smell of old carpet, the old woman poking her head out. Susan continued. Susan told me later that when Emma opened the door, her ex was there too. I didn't move. My eyes stayed on the message. Her neighbor said her ex was there when it arrived. Looked like he'd just stayed over. My stomach didn't drop. It didn't twist. I just exhaled. People in the building were already talking about it by afternoon. I typed back thanks. That was all. Then I turned my phone face down again and sat still for a long time. Later that evening, Emma called. I let it ring the first time. The second time I picked up. "Daniel, what the hell did you do?" she snapped. Her voice was shaking, as not with fear but with rage. "I sent you a wreath," I said simply. "Why?" "You know why. This is insane. You embarrassed me in front of my whole building. People are talking about me, about us." "About you," I corrected. "Not us." She went quiet for a second, then said, "You're sick." I didn't respond. She filled the silence herself. "You had no right. You've ruined my reputation. Everyone thinks I'm some kind of cheater, or aren't you?" I asked. My voice came out calm. Too calm, maybe. She didn't answer right away. I could hear her breathing, fast and uneven. "I didn't do anything wrong," she said finally, like a kid defending herself. "He's just a friend." I almost smiled. "A friend who still has a key to your bed, apparently." "Daniel, please stop," she said, her tone breaking. "You don't understand. It's not what you think." "I think it's exactly what I think," I said. "And now so does everyone else." She started to cry then, not loud sobs, just soft, shaky breaths. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. "Why would you do something so cruel?" she whispered. I thought about that for a moment before answering. "Because you didn't think twice when you said it. You didn't think how it sounded, how it made me feel. You treated it like it was nothing. I just gave it the attention it deserved." There was silence. Then she hung up. That night, Susan texted me again. "It's all over the building now," the old neighbor told everyone. Some guy even took a picture of the wreath before it was taken down. "People are saying Emma's been seeing her ex behind your back." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I poured myself a drink, sat by the window, and watched the rain come down in steady lines. I knew things would explode for her. People talk. They always do. But for the first time in weeks, my head was quiet. It wasn't pride I felt, more like relief. Like I'd finally put an end to something that had been rotting slowly in silence. The relationship was dead. The wreath just made it official. The next morning started with my phone buzzing non-stop. At first, I thought it was work emails. Then I saw the names. Emma, unknown number, mom, private caller. The first voicemail was from Emma's dad. He sounded angry but also embarrassed. "Daniel, this is Robert. I don't know what happened between you and Emma, but this whole thing's gotten out of hand. Her mother's in tears. The neighbors have been calling. Please just stop whatever this is." He hung up before I could even process it. Then came a text from Emma's mom. "I don't know what you were trying to prove, but you've humiliated my daughter and our family. Whatever she did, this wasn't right." I stared at that message for a while. There was something ironic about it, as if they thought I'd done all of this to hurt them. They didn't see the part where Emma lit the match herself. A few minutes later, Emma called again. I answered this time. She sounded like she hadn't slept. Her voice was rough. "Daniel, please," she said. "You have to help me fix this." "Fix what?" I asked. "They're saying things about me that aren't true. My parents know, my boss even heard about it. Someone posted a picture of the wreath online. Do you understand how bad this looks?" I took a deep breath. "Emma, the wreath didn't tell anyone what to think. It just showed up. People saw what they saw. The rest, they filled in themselves." "That's cruel," she whispered. "You could have just broken up with me." "Why make it public?" "Because you made it public the moment you told me about your ex like it was no big deal," I said. "You killed the relationship right there." The wreath was just the funeral notice. For a long time she didn't say anything. Then she said quietly, "I didn't mean to hurt you." "I know," I said. "But you did anyway," she sniffed. "So that's it? You ruin my name and walk away?" "Emma," I said softly, "I didn't ruin your name. You just gave people a story and they decided how to tell it." She started crying again, then hung up. I didn't call back. That afternoon I went for a drive. No destination, just out of the city, past the suburbs, until the buildings turned into trees. I parked near a lake and sat there for a while. The air was cold, the kind that makes your thoughts quieter. I thought about everything, the dinners, the mornings, her cat, the way she used to hum when she brushed her hair. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. People think revenge feels good. It doesn't, it just fills a silence. It gives you something to do with the emptiness that comes after disappointment. When I got home, I deleted her number, our photos, the messages. I blocked her on everything. I didn't do it out of hate. I just wanted the noise gone. A week later, Susan texted me one last time. She moved out. Someone new's renting her place now. Thought you'd want to know. I didn't reply. That night, I took out the little things she'd left at my place, a mug, a hair tie, a sweater, and put them in a box. I left the box outside by the dumpster. When I went back inside, the apartment felt different, lighter somehow. Quiet in a good way. I made myself a drink, sat on the couch, and thought about the florist, the man who'd asked me, "Who are we remembering today?" If he'd asked again, I'd probably just say, "It's over," but I didn't need to say anything. The story had already told itself, and just like that, it was over.